Game changer, Zepbound 2.5 milligrams, everything you need to know with getting started with Zepbound. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I wish I had known these game-changing Zepbound 2.5 milligram items 15 months ago when I started on my Mounjaro weight loss journey and Zepbound weight loss journey. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 80 pounds the last 15 months. I've got my co-host here, Mr. Freddie. He's very excited to share with you guys as well about all the game-changing things you need to think of, and basically a starter pack is what I like to call it. I wish I had had the information for the starter pack to be well prepared, to be well started, and to take away some of the anxiety of starting a new medication. On my first shot night, my hands were shaking and my hands were all sweaty as I did my injection. And I want to help give you some comfort and hopefully take some of the scary berries out of taking Mounjaro or taking Zepbound after having done it now for 15 months. I'm not a healthcare provider. I will always punch you back over to your healthcare provider for any medical advice because I'm not giving that. This is simply my experience, strength, and hope. I got this big old thing here. It is a refrigerator, and you may say, Countess, why do you have a refrigerator in here? And that's our first game-changing item. I wish someone had told me at the beginning of my journey was where you're going to hold your shots. When you get your 4-pack box, it's 4 pens, 1 each week, so it's a 28-day dose of Zepbound or Mounjaro. Where are you putting it in your refrigerator? You may not have thought that far. I know I didn't. And what we talk about in my free Mounjaro weight loss group and Zepbound weight loss group, by the way, if you're on WEGOVY, all are welcome at that table. It's linked in the description link below, is where you're going to hold your shots. If you have kids, elderly people that you take care of, folks that may be neurodivergent or that may not adhere if you say don't touch this, that may still touch things, I want you to consider where you're going to put your shot. For me, I put ours in our meat drawer, our deli meat drawer. And my 8-year-old son, the Duke, knows do not touch that. Do not even open the drawer to go in there. When we have guests over, I tell every person who comes to our house, if we're doing something with food, do not go into the refrigerator without asking me, please. And I get that harsh for a couple of reasons. One, there's glass in these pens. That scares me. Hello, it's a needle. That's obviously number one. There's a needle on there. Yes, there's this safety cap you can just pop off, but it is still a needle. And so keeping people safe, elderly safe, many people in my free encouragement group care for their elderly parents. We have one group member who has, her mom has Alzheimer's. And so protecting them from themselves, from potentially touching the injection, but also if this drops, these are so expensive. It's so valuable. I want nothing to happen to my pens with the shortage right now with Mounjaro, and Zepbound's not on the FDA shortage list, but I'm predicting it will be. Wait and see if I'm factually accurate on that. Protecting these pens at all costs. So what I want to encourage you, and I've linked down below, is a refrigerator, a mini refrigerator, that if you do have young children or folks who don't listen, or if you have neurodivergent folks, or if you have elderly folks that you're caring for, or people who just won't listen if you tell them don't touch this space, maybe getting one of these mini refrigerators, and I'll link that down in the description link below. One of our fabulous group members had recommended that, and I was like, that's brilliant. I'm actually, when we go on vacation, we're driving there, we're not flying. But I'm gonna take this with me just because we're gonna be there for a little bit for this upcoming trip that I have. I'm traveling a bunch with work and I'm driving. And so taking that with me because I'm sharing the refrigerator with other people that some of them may not listen if I say don't touch that. They're the people who touch the hot stove when you're like, the stove's hot, and they're like, oh, my hand burned. Number 2, let's move along, is after you do your shot, first, I do want to say, make sure you review thoroughly the Eli Lilly insert that comes in the packaging. It's purple. It says the purple areas of where you can do your 3 injection sites. You're going to want to stay till the end because I have something that is riveted my 15-month journey that no one is talking about. You're going to want to stay to the end to hear that information because it may very well change your journey significantly, and I wish I had known it at the very beginning when I was starting Zepbound 2.5 milligrams and Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams. So after we figure out number 2 is where the injection's going, number 3 is where are you putting the injection after you do this? Eli Lilly, the manufacturer of Mounjaro, used to give out free sharps containers. That is where you dispose of your injection after you do them. I'm gonna link down below ones on Amazon that you can get. You need to dispose of these. They can't just go in the garbage. Eli Lilly tells us they need to be deposed, and each state is different, so I can't be like, oh, go do this. Each state's different. The sharps containers on there, I love these. because it's very clear if you have house cleaners that are coming to your house to not touch the biohazard waste that it's been injected into my body. It's touched my bodily fluid with some blood, sometimes sometimes not. If you don't have blood when you do your injection, that does not mean that it's not working. We'll talk about that later. But disposing of these properly, particularly if maybe you have a house cleaner or if you have pets. It's the other thing I want you to think of. If you have cats or dogs or, I don't know, like a flying parakeet or something, birds, disposing of these after you do them. Where are these pens going? Again, there is a needle on there. Again, there's glass in this. That's why you want to be very gingerly with these after you use them and dispose of them. Well worth getting my Zepbound starter kit. It's all Amazon linked down below. Let's move over to the next tip for you that I have starting our Zepbound journey. Starting your Mounjaro journey. I talk about this ad nauseum, and so if you are have been on this journey for a bit, you probably have heard this one, but it's still really important. If you don't take my encouragement, take the idea of the encouragement of how you can use it for your own. Is eventually, if you're doing Zepbound for chronic obesity management or Mounjaro for chronic obesity management being prescribed off label, measuring and tracking is really important for your journey, because it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when you're going to have a weight stall. It's going to happen. And it definitely has happened for me. And what has saved my behind, figuratively and literally, has been these tracking tools. There's 3 of them. And normally I'd be like, oh, it's a scale. No, it's not just a scale. Let me tell you why. One is it's a smart tape scale that will measure your waist, your hips, your arms. One of our group members measures her wrist in my free Mounjaro weight loss encouragement group. It's linked in the description. And this is very helpful when the scale's not a rockin'. You can go a knockin' with the smart tape body measuring system. I love this because it syncs into one app on my phone. And then the scale has 13 different, it's the same manufacturer. It syncs into one app on your phone, so you're not looking 500 different places of what your data is, which I erroneously did when I started my journey, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't have a better measuring system with it. But this also measures 13 components. Weight is obviously one of them, but another one is muscle mass. Muscle mass loss is a big concern on Zepbound weight loss and Mounjaro weight loss, and not just for GLP-1 medications. That is across the board for any sort of medication, like that you are any sort of weight loss that you lose muscle mass. So tracking that, a track number grows to keep you well educated of how is your muscle mass doing. In addition to, there's 13 components in addition to 11 others besides weight and the muscle mass. The third one that I love is if you have blood pressure issues, getting their smart blood pressure measure will sync all together with these 2. Again, keeping it all in one spot to make your life easier. Over a year's worth of data in there, having it in one spot, having data matters on this the Mounjaro weight loss journey or Zepbound weight loss journey. In my humble opinion, it has been one of the best things that I've screwed up a whole bunch. Let's just keep it real. I've screwed up a whole bunch. It's one of the best things I've done is keep really good data tracking records because a tracked number grows. Number 2 on that, if you don't want to purchase anything, I do have, I would still do it anyways, a free printout for side effects. But on there, we take it a step further. I want you tracking each week, or my encouragement. I'm not going to want you to do anything. You do what you want. But for me, I'll use my I statements. What's worked well for me is knowing the dose I'm on, side effects for that particular dose, the location spot that I did do my injection. Was it on the back of my arm? And I'm using the Eli Lilly picture. I'm using generic terms and talking about this. You always want to refer back to that purple diagram with Eli Lilly, the back of your arm, near your belly button, and then in your upper thigh. There's 3 spots. Where was the injection? What was the side effects? How did I feel? The time of day in which I took it is helpful, which we're going to talk more about that later. Is it morning, midday, evening? There's a reason why I'm saying that. So tracking those would be the second thing that I would track, in addition to having these smart devices. They're inexpensive, by the way. They're under 25 bucks. Sometimes I have a sale. I always announce in my free group, I'm like, they're on sale. They're like $21 this week or whatever. They're under 25 bucks. It's well worth the price point on them to have everything syncing into one spot for proper data tracking. Next, let's move over to side effects. Is being prepared for side effects. Side effects will happen. Eli Lilly tells us that the most common side effects are gastrointestinal, which are 3 of them. I want you to be well prepared for each of the 3. For me, I'm now on Mounjaro 15 milligrams just because I have one side effect on one dose, like Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams, Zepbound 2.5 milligrams. By the way, Mounjaro and Zepbound are the same thing, just different FDA approvals for them, but they're same dose, same manufacturer, same formularity, same. Just because you have one side effect for one dose does not mean that down the pike you won't have a different side effect, has been my experience, for a different dose. I never had nausea until Mounjaro 15 milligrams. I thought I was out of the woods, and now it's full force of I get nausea a lot more frequently over the past few months of having taken Mounjaro 15 milligrams. I absolutely love Element electrolytes. In fact, I'm gonna do raspberry salt is my absolute favorite flavor. But a group member told me today, they are like, Elizabeth, orange is my favorite flavor, and I hadn't had it in a while, so I'm gonna have it this morning. We'll have some electrolytes together. People ask me all the time, they say, why do you take Element? I've taken Element now for over 15 months. I started taking it really diligently when I started my Mounjaro weight loss journey back 15 months ago, and it has made a major difference because of my side effects. People say, why do you take it? It's because pretty much for me, my Mounjaro side effects and Zepbound side effects. Because it has in there three things. There's no junks, there's no dye, there's no sugar, but the three things are potassium, magnesium, and sodium. The potassium negates out sodium issues if you're worried about that. But more importantly, that magnesium is super helpful for weight loss journey, for sleeping, for a lot of different things. And the sodium, we need sodium. Like, you need sodium. I'm not talking table salt. Table salt is bad. That's different. That's where it's like stripped of the nutrients and things like that. This is different. People have asked me, and I got new jars, by the way. I'll link these also down in the description link below. If I'm taking them because I'm working out and sweating a whole bunch, yes, I do work out, which we're going to talk about, but that's not my primary point of taking my electrolytes. I take them, they're so good. I take them also because I'm not eating as much. And so it tastes good. It helps me get my water in. And I really, I like them quite a bit. And I like that it's not spiking my sugars. It's keeping my blood work really good with it too. Get my lid on there. Cheers, friends. Element has been very gracious with the Countess of shopping community. If you go to drinkelement.com/queen, that's DRINK LMNT.com/queen. They'll give 8 free sticks with any purchase. My 8-year-old, the Duke, is very much a sports person. He's an athlete. His favorite one is watermelon. I love giving him these because it doesn't have blue dye, for example, in it. I'll just sip on this throughout the day. Typically, people ask me, for sure, I'm very diligent on day 0, 1, and 2 of my injection to have my electrolytes because it minimizes the gastrointestinal side effects, which are constipation, nausea / vomiting, and diarrhea. I have had, not to get too graphic and gross, but having had diarrhea, it's really important to replace the electrolytes, particularly with those gastrointestinal issues. So I absolutely love these. These are my go-to. I've had them for 15 months. It's been my ride. I am obsessed with these because it's made such a big difference to minimizing my side effects. I have tested having Element electrolytes and not having them over the last 15 months. I've been my own guinea pig. Significant difference for me of how my body reacts, particularly at the beginning of starting Zepbound 2.5 milligrams or Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams. For me, it made a huge difference in the way my body reacted, and noticeable difference when I don't take it around my injection time. Now, I do have these at other times, and I have had up to 2 sticks per day, but I typically will have between 0 to 2 depending on what I'm doing, but it is an absolute on injection, the day before injection day, the day of injection day, and the day after, because of that appetite suppression, because my body's feeling the heightened side effects usually on those first few days. And particularly at the beginning, I had gnarly side effects when I first started. And so this helped calm my body more, significantly for me, particularly if you're having diarrhea. Let's go over and talk about that. There's 3 gastrointestinal side effects. 1 is diarrhea. Taking Element has been very helpful. And 2, I want to encourage you to look at, for me, when I had diarrhea, Eli Lilly tells us we got to make permanent lifestyle changes with our food and physical activity, right? We just do. And I was eating very high fat foods when I had diarrhea, that would clock well. Or if having, Mr. Freddy sometimes. He's like, Mom, I'm just cleaning myself. Or having that diarrhea with fatty foods, or just in general, making the change to have more leafy greens, fruits, and vegetables. Having nutrient-dense foods is really important for me, in addition to having high protein. And so that, in conjunction of having fatty foods, which I realized for my protein, I really have to limit. I can have protein, we're gonna talk about this more, but more lean protein. And then also when I have leafy green and fruits and vegetables too, if I'm having that in conjunction with high fat foods, that whacks my stomach out. That is me. I want you to test for you, which is why I go back to the beginning tip of where I said it's so important for you to track your own data, because you're gonna start having pattern recognition with that too. So diarrhea is the first one. You can get products to help with diarrhea as well, which I'll link down below in my starter pack too. But absolutely having the Element electrolytes was very profound and helpful for me with that. 2 is constipation is really, really common. If you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't gone to the bathroom. Well, Element has in there first and foremost the magnesium, which is gonna help to go, usually it does help with the bowel movement, but there's some other products you can snag that I'll link down below that help with constipation too. Including psyllium husk. I'll link this down below. That will help if you want some psyllium husk to help move things along with constipation, making sure you're having leafy green fruits and vegetables as well. And then I have some probiotics that I'll link down below, which are helpful for constipation. And then also specifically magnesium with 7 types in it. That helps very much too. I take that at nighttime. And that is very, very helpful as well for constipation. The third one is nausea / vomiting. I've never vomited, knock on wood. And so, but I have had nausea recently. Twofold. One is I won't chop up ginger, fresh ginger. In fact, I just got an Aldi shopping grocery order delivered to my porch, and it had in there like 5 nubs of ginger. I'll chop that up and put it in fresh water and put it in a glass pitcher and leave that in my refrigerator to sip on ginger water. That helps calm my tummy. Or with nausea, using the alcohol wipes that I use for my injection, which I'll link down below, sniffing that and then popping a mint. That is helpful for me. Or number 3, ginger chews. I like this particular brand best because they don't have crazy high sugar in them. Whereas I've had some other ones that are like, I mean, it's defeating the purpose of my blood panel of making sure my sugars are not spiking and being cuckoo crazy. These I like because it's less of the sugars. I typically don't eat these chews very much because of the sugar component. So I try instead to do my other 2 methods for nausea as opposed to this, but I do have them on hand when sometimes I just get really like, it's very, very helpful. People don't talk, so we have the gastrointestinal, that's most common. There's some really serious, severe side effects. I'm not gonna talk about those on today's episode, but you do wanna talk to your healthcare provider about those. As you go through these gastrointestinal side effects and beginning side effects, you need to talk to your healthcare provider. If you do not have a healthcare provider that you can talk to and have dialogue with, you're with the wrong healthcare provider. I have an incredible healthcare provider that I work with. I will link down in the description link below, as is their discount code. I can ask them questions. You need to be able to ask your healthcare provider because they have your medical conditions, because we are all different. Our medical conditions are all different. The background of all of this is all different. If you're a type 2 diabetic with obesity, obesity management care, or if you're just doing obesity management care, you need to be able to talk to somebody. So very, very important on those, and having routine blood panels. Oh my gosh, if they're not making you have routine blood panels, please switch over to mine. They're amazing, helpful. It has made a big difference for my journey, having a healthcare provider I can continuously tap into with their medical expertise. In fact, my healthcare provider just told me about this neat meditation thing. Anyways, it was really cool. It was really cool. Let's go over next to hair loss. Talking about hair loss, that can be common. I've done whole videos on those. Make sure you click like and subscribe so you can see my playlist. I've done multiple videos on hair loss that can happen with weight loss, not just with Mounjaro weight loss, Zepbound weight loss, tirzepatide weight loss, but in general weight loss. It takes 3 months to see trauma, meaning weight loss, for it to show up. So if you're starting in January, you may not see hair loss in January, February, March. You may not see that till the beginning of April of your hair coming out. And you may be trucking along in like March, or the beginning of March, being like, no, I'm good. No, boo. Like, you want to be on top of that, of having protein and collagen. I do have a great collagen that I'll link also down in the description link below that I particularly like. in addition to some certain supplements, if you're prone, if you know you're having a lot of appetite suppression, people who have a lot of appetite suppression, you may not be getting your nutrients in, which is why you may want to look over the supplement round, in my humble opinion. Next, fatigue. For me, I feel like people don't talk about this enough. The tiredness in which I get on shot day, I have now mapped out on my calendar. My family all knows that I get really tired and have fatigue for 24 hours after my injection. It usually starts about at the 12-hour mark, so it's really like 12 hours to 36 hours. It's this pocket. So much so I have changed my work schedule. Electrolytes has very much helped with that fatigue because of the sodium, potassium, and magnesium in it, but just knowing I need to sleep and rest, and I'm a very highly productive individual, and you probably are too if you're watching this video, making sure that I do allow my body to rest and that that's okay. Sometimes I can get squirrely about that and be like, I need to be producing things or this or that, or I own multiple businesses, and letting myself rest with this medication is okay. It's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. I have to. Let's go over next to our dosing. But actually, we're gonna come back to that. Protein for me, I've met with a GLP-1 dietitian. I've interviewed her. Honestly, that was my pharmacy calling. Let's go back over and talk about protein. I have once you click like and subscribe, you can see my playlist of all of my videos, which is almost 200 videos on Mounjaro and Zepbound. So in there is an interview with a GLP-1 dietitian. She has her master's degree in nutrition, is an expert on nutrition with GLP-1s. And so in there, she shared with me I needed to make sure I had 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. I don't hit that on day 1, day 2, and day 3 because of the appetite suppression. But day 4, definitely day 5 and 6 and 7 for me, I do. Everybody's different. Remember, you may not be hitting that. I am almost 6 feet tall, so I am trying to hit every day 120 grams of protein, if not a little bit more. And so with that, tracking my protein has been really, really important. I am obsessed with BioCare protein dietary drinks because they're made for folks who are on semaglutide and tirzepatide because it helps with the gastrointestinal issues. It has in there only 6 ounces, which is really easy to chug, but 20 grams of protein, and it helps with that muscle mass loss. Remember how I talked about tracking muscle mass? Whoa, this is so helpful to have because I can easily, quickly chug that. They have them in chocolate and mixed fruit. I'll link that down below. But tracking daily my protein. I love tracking with the Weight Watchers GLP-1 app. They've given us a discount code, which I'll also link down below. And that helps me stay in tune of like, am I hitting that protein goal? Because I'm not hitting it on day 1 and day 2. I focus in on a high protein meals and nutrient dense meals on those days. But typically I'm doing OMAD, 1 meal a day on those days. So it's really important for me for having things like BioCare to take that. And I like these. I do not take them without having ice with it. I'll use my blender to mix it with ice. To me, I'm a texture person. I get really whacked out with textures. Anyone else like that? So for me, I have to mix it with ice in a blender. Some people just take it in their protein shaker bottle and then can just chug it. I cannot. I have to have it with ice. I just have to have it with ice. And mixed fruit is my favorite, but I do like the chocolate one as well. It reminds me of Jell-O. Do you guys remember Jell-O pudding pops? Is that just a 90s thing? They're really, really good. Okay, so we have in here, let's go back over protein tracking, a water system. Because you're gonna be having appetite suppression, usually, and by the way, I say usually, some people don't. And if you don't, that's totally okay. I wanna encourage you, more studies are coming out, and studies are coming out on 3 different types of people. There's hyper people who lose a ton of weight and they have amazing, really overly high results from taking Mounjaro and Zepbound. And then there is regular normal people. And then there's hypo people. Hypo, and I'm not using the word correctly, but hypo meaning they're slower. And that's okay if you're in the slower category of where you're not having appetite suppression, where you're not having weight loss, where you're not having those things. That's okay. Studies have shown, and we talk facts here in science, not woo-woo, like facts in science, like let's keep it 100% factually accurate here at Countess of Shopping. Studies have shown that it may just need a higher dose. Eventually, with the dosing, you're gonna have some results. but it may take you a higher dose than Zepbound 2.5 milligrams or Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams. Talk to your healthcare provider. This is why having a dialogue with a good healthcare provider matters, because if you're getting discouraged, frustrated, upset, I want to encourage you, don't. I validate your feelings, but also don't. Have that conversation, because then your healthcare provider can talk to you about the science of it. And you may have other medical conditions that may take a hot second to do, which is why, to help with, which is why the blood panel matters. Because in the blood panel, it could be other conditions that are affecting why you're not having appetite suppression or weight loss with it. So having a water system is really, really important, which I think it sounds so crazy when I say that to people. I'm like, you need to have a water system. But really, it's been one of the most beneficial things for me is, what tumbler will I pick today? I have a tumbler system. I really do. My family thinks I'm wacky, but now actually my son copies me, and which I love. He's copying my positive health benefits. It makes water fun. Of like picking out the tumbler. We have a way that we wash the lids, the straws. Stanley's, by the way, if you don't move this, it's gonna get mold underneath, which is why I've switched over to a different brand of tumblers, which I'll link down below, that are still 40 ounces. I love them. But we've also gotten things like these with these little glass straws, like fun ways to drink water. Fun ways to drink water. And washing these in the dishwasher too makes it really simple. I wanna encourage you to have a water system. Next. Clothes. For me, my clothes did change. I lost, and this is not normal. Whenever I share this, I'm always like, it's not normal. Please don't make that the rule. It's the exception to the rule, is I lost 11 pounds my first week. It sounds crass, but it's true. You're one bowel movement away from losing a lot of weight. So if you're getting upset about, I only lost 1 pound per week, can we please normalize losing 1 to 2 pounds per week? That is normal. But my pants have substantially changed, obviously, because I've lost over 80 pounds. But I've got these off Amazon, of all places. And they have on here, as I go through my weight loss training, let me take it off the hanger. It has elastic in the back. It's like party in the front, elastic in the back. And when I wear a business suit or my blazer, or if I'm wearing this out to dinner with my hot husband, it has in the front this little clip, but it doesn't have a zipper. It's like a fake front. So it's flat in the front, and it makes my waist look all cinched, but in the back, it gives some give as I lose weight. I love these pants so much. I ended up buying them also in black, and I highly recommend them. They've been a great purchase. Yeah, they've been a great purchase. If you guys saw me on Oprah, if I made it through the editing process, I don't know. We'll see if I made it through the editing process. It hasn't come out yet. That was what I was wearing, was from Amazon. And I highly recommend. Your clothes are going to change. And so having a system, it's all about systems, a system for your clothing. Next, dealing with loose skin. I didn't see that in the first week, but I did see it months down the pike. I have multiple resources. Nothing's going to get rid of loose skin besides loose skin surgery. But for loose skin for my neck, and then for my body, I have substantial loose skin on my thighs. And it's somewhat embarrassing. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I know that the way that I'm going to get rid of that is continuing with muscle, like training, weight loss training, but also loose skin surgery. In the interim till that happens, I've got 2 great products. I bought these with my own money. I'm obsessed with them. They help tighten the skin, and it makes a big difference. I have added into that an exfoliant, and it's not this brand's exfoliant. It's a different brand of an exfoliant. I will link that down below too. It's been a game changer to do the exfoliant and then the lotion. Particularly with bathing suit season coming up, it actually has made a big difference for me, which I love. Next, lifting. Because of the muscle mass loss, getting into a lifting schedule has been really, really important. You may not want to figure that out your first week, but if you're on Zepbound 2.5 milligrams for, maybe after your first month or 2 months, or Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams, getting into a lifting schedule. I have a lifting training plan. I'll link down below. Use the code QUEEN. That I use to help combat the muscle that I'm losing from weight loss. I need to stay strong. I'm in my 40s. I don't want to be in my 60s and have a brittle body. I want to be able to be powerful and strong with my muscles. So getting a lifting, and that again may not be at the very beginning. You may be like, Elizabeth, I'm just trying to get through this diarrhea. You know what I'm saying? And that's totally okay as we go through different phases of learning about GLP-1s. Next, because I'm working out more, and you may be too, I have found a laundry detergent that I love that helps with smells, but also my kid is 8 and he is a typical boy and comes home with grass stains, and so they have you add it in addition to your It's not crazy expensive either. In addition to your laundry detergent, I will link that down below. I'm kind of obsessed. It's called Active. And it may be on sale this week on Amazon too. Prices obviously are subject to change. So working out, having a system for that. Daily vitamins, I have switched over. If you saw my old game changer for Zepbound and Mounjaro, I talked about a different vitamin. I actually love, they're called Gem. They have been very gracious with the Countess of Shopping community to give a discount code. They're bite size. They're made out of dates. Isn't that crazy? But they have in there probiotics, prebiotics, vitamins. I love these because I know on days 1, 2, and 3, I'm not eating as much food. And so having those nutrients is really, really important. We've seen what happened with bariatric patients of not, you know what I mean? Like, that scares me. I feel like they were the precursor to GLP-1s with a lot of weight loss, and taking wisdom from what happened with bariatric patients of needing a daily supplement and vitamin. Dosing. This was the thing that I said to stay till the end. This is really important. Before I titrated it up, now I'm at the highest dose, so I'm not titrating up anymore. I wish I had had more of a focus on changing my injection sites and changing the time of day in which I took my injection before I titrated up. Take my encouragement. I'm at the highest possible dose. I'm at the ceiling. There's nowhere else for me to go. I wish on my journey I had changed up my 3 injection sites more. And I wish I had varied the time of day more, which is why I go back to one of the beginning things I said about tracking. Because once you get to that high dose, it's terrifying. I have nowhere else to go. And slowly but surely, my appetite suppression is less and less and less. And it's not that the GLP-1 and Mounjaro or Zepbound is not working, because it is working, but my body is fighting against the 80+ pounds that I've lost on this journey. And so knowing that, the relief that I had when I would titrate up a dose, I don't have that luxury anymore. And so I want you to take from my mistake. I wish I had camped out on my doses longer before titrating up, because I have nowhere else to go. So, and I've done a whole video, like multiple videos on this. If you want more information on that, go check out the playlist down below and click that like and subscribe, because that very well may help you from titrating up as much as I did. In 2 years, more medications are coming out. They're still in trials, and it'll take about 2 years to get. So I got to hang out here for the next 2 years, figuring out how to make these lifestyle changes, because I'm not done with my race. I'm actually still technically considered obese. I know, right? I'm like, dude. That reminded me of Crush from Finding Dory. Dude. So those are my main, like, if this has been helpful for you and you want to see a Zepbound 5 mg or Mounjaro 5 mg, please tell me in the comments. I want to be of maximum service for you. And we do a little thing here at Countess of Shopping of where you put an emoji down below in the comments. Twofold. One, it will help me to get to know you better. If you want to be a part of the Countess community, I will know you. I have been on this journey for 15 months, and the friends that I've made, the Counts and Countesses, it's been amazing. And through pattern recognition of the emoji, today's emoji is going to be a drink. However you want to make the drink, in honor of Element. However you want to make the drink. And also, with that emoji, I will pray over you. With each comment that has the emoji, if you don't believe in prayer, I will uplift you in positivity. Feel free to join my free group. It's totally free, and on countessofshopping.com, my blog, I have over 50+ articles I've written to help encourage you as a free resource of what's worked well for me, what's not worked well, the mistakes that I've made, because I certainly have made a bunch of mistakes along this. And hopefully it will be a source of encouragement for you too as you're starting out your journey. I want to make sure you go ahead and check out Element as well. Get their free 8 sticks with any purchase at Element, drinkelement.com/queen. They've been so gracious with the Countess of Shopping community. And make sure you join my free encouragement group. You don't have to do this alone. It was very intimidating being like, I know no one on this medication, and it's literally changing my life. And so having a support network with thousands and thousands of really good people. When you join that group, you need to fill out all the questions. If your Facebook profile is less than 5 years, you probably will get flagged as spam. If you are not admitted into the group, email me. If you put it in the comments here down below of like, I'm not in your group, I'm not gonna really, email me. Email me, my email's in the description. I will make sure my office admits you into that free group. That's the best way to do it too. And we'll make sure that we have systems to make sure, go back to my systems, we have systems to make sure that we don't miss people if they're emailing us to be admitted into the group, because there's spammers out there, and I am I protect that group like a mama bear. I am a mama. Some of you guys have seen me like snap. I protect that group with love, kindness, respect, because it's a safe space for people on the Mounjaro weight loss journey, Zepbound weight loss journey, WEGOVY weight loss journey, semaglutide weight loss journey, tirzepatide weight loss journey. So, my sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.